Next up, I am very happy to welcome Genna Rosenberg, who's CEO of GennComm and an industry leader. She's going to come up and give you guys some Toy Fair tips and tools about what you can do now, right before you hit the show floor, and what to do post-show to get you all prepped. So come on up, Genna.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going so far? Good? We excited? We feeling great about our first Toy Fair? How many people in the room is it your first Toy Fair? Yay! Good. That's awesome. Well, I am Genna Rosenberg. Let's see. Okay, great. My hope for today is that they're not just little tips. This is hopefully going to be a masterclass in how to conquer the Toy Fair floor. So this is created just for you all, and this is a little bit about me. I have been in the industry my entire career. Like so many people that I have met, I fell into the toy industry accidentally. Almost everyone I know, unless they went to school to study toy design or they were born into it, like a lot of the folks who were just on the last panel, they just accidentally fell into it. For me, my 10th grade English teacher said, "Genna, you should do public relations." And I said, okay. I didn't know what to do. And I went to college at University of Maryland and I studied PR and women's studies. My heart was always in social impact. And my first job out of school, I got a job working at an agency, and one of our first clients was a licensing agent. So I started doing PR on his deals and went to Toy Fair from my very first year working in the industry. So at this point, I've attended, except for when I had babies and COVID, every Toy Fair of the last 30 years. And this is my little insider's guide created just for you. So the most important thing that you need to understand is this is an entire ecosystem of the global toy industry, what you're about to see today. This is a combination of all of the different work product that everyone who works within the ecosystem, it all comes together here at Toy Fair. There's actually several different Toy Fairs. You may know about this already. We're just off the heels of the Hong Kong and London and Nuremberg Toy Fairs. And now we're here in New York where some people have already seen products that are planned for 2027. We're in 2026 right now, but we're also planning ahead for next year, and they're going to be making final decisions. So what's important for today is that you attend the show with the right mindset as you enter the ecosystem. So there's a combination of magic and also the business. And your job today is to think of both of those things. So not to have tunnel vision, but to really understand that you need to go into the aisles and look with a sophisticated lens, but always remember that these are playthings that are for kids of all ages. So with this slide, what I hope to communicate to you is that there's really more than meets the eye, and it's up to you to find those nuggets as you walk through the building today and look at all the toys. So smart folks who are walking around the show, I want you to think about what are the materials that I'm seeing? A lot of things are gonna look the same, but what are the features? What is the packaging? What are the different retail put-ups that I'm seeing? How are the materials contributing to the playability of the different toys that we're seeing throughout what you're seeing in the aisle? And then you guys I want you to really think about how could you fit in? So I teach a class at the University of Maryland on careers in the toy industry, especially that intersects social impact that I mentioned is part of my heart after working in 30 years in toys and marketing, PR. Actually, my career has evolved now, like many of the people who were just on stage, where I started doing the storytelling for the toys, and now my company's actually inventing toys, and we're doing licensing, we create brands, and we're working on really the entire ecosystem. And you my friends, do not have to do one thing or be one thing. So what I want you to do is think about, what do you love in your life? What do you love? Are you a sports fan? Do you like fashion? Are you into anime? Do you like cooking? What do you love? And then what are you good at? Okay? And then I will tell you that almost in every case, maybe you're really into technology. Maybe you're into music, like my friend Warren Buckleitner over there, who's teaching kids from College of New Jersey, who has so many different skills. Yeah, right. You can find your place in the toy industry that combines what you're good at with what you love. And so you're going to go through the show, and you're going to have a dual mentality of thinking like a kid and being a business professional as you walk through the show. So you're going to define your mission. Think about, what's your major? What do you love? What are you good at? What product categories really light you up? And I want you to think about, okay, I'm going to challenge myself. Maybe I can think about 3 different potential jobs in the universe, okay, and how they fit into the toy industry. Maybe you think you might be a lawyer, or maybe you might go into finance. Brian Weiss, my friend from Goliath, talked about how he went to finance, but then he missed toys. Guess what? You can work in finance in toys. You can be a lawyer in the toy industry. If you love sports, you don't have to be an NFL player or play at Wimbledon. Maybe you get to design the latest pickleball set because you recognize that there's a trend in pickleball. And maybe you also see a hole in the marketplace that, my mom is 70 and she loves pickleball, and wouldn't it be great if they made a new kind of pickleball racket with a larger ball so that seniors could play? So what you're going to do as you walk through is you're going to look for white space, what we call white space, areas where people maybe aren't making products yet, or a nuance to a product category that might be really popular. Last year I was here with one of my students from University of Maryland, and they were a materials design and engineer, and said, Professor Rosenberg, this is fun. I took this class because I had an opening then, and it sounded interesting, but I don't see myself working in here. And then after attending Toy Fair, they realized, I could be a slime chemist, like Jeremy Medwed on my team, who's invented multiple different types of slime, who I think is in the room here somewhere. There he is. Jeremy waved to everyone. So Jeremy was into technology. He was a computer guy, got really great at scouring the world for major trends, has worked at GennComm, and is now the inventor on 6 issued patents. So you never know how you can use your diverse skills and find a home in the toy industry. One more quick thing on this topic. I had another student of mine who was in the Army, and she actually was based in Korea, was fluent in Korean, and came back and worked as her words, a bar wench at medieval times. And she told me, I sold these $30 drinks at medieval times to people who really didn't need them in the collectible cup. And I thought, you might be great at international sales. What a bonus that you speak Korean and you can sell ice to an Eskimo. So she really, clung on to that and is finding her place. Okay, so hopefully you've all downloaded the Toy Fair app. You can, if you have an idea of a company that you want to meet with, you can type it in the app and find them right away. Toy Fair University has a ton of content that's happening right now. And then as far as mastering the floor, a couple of housekeeping things so that you may or may not know. There are lots of different types of booths. So you're going to see booths that are open booths and closed booths. So if they're open, you can wander through and check out all the toys, but a lot of the booths are closed. They might have a receptionist, they might have pictures on the outside of their booth, but they have secret things that are going on inside, and so unfortunately you may not be able to go into those booths, but you can engage with the outsides and see what's coming up next. And a lot of them are hybrids, where you can engage with some of the content outside the booths. And then I would like to encourage you to read the room. So respect that there's a lot of business going on. I'm sure you guys are going to want to talk with people, and maybe look for booths that are less crowded. Then those are folks who would be very excited to talk with you about their path, what they have, what's new about it, where are they from, where are you from, and it's a great way to get information, but never interrupt a meeting that's going on. And then there's also tons of things that are going on in the lobby. So lots of socially shareable moments. The Toy of the Years are on display up there, and many other new first-time exhibitors. The Toy for Freshman class, I think, have an exhibit there. And so there's lots to see in the different lobby, too. So this is a day and a place for you to build your network. You can take what you see here at Toy Fair and share it on social, hug a character, and meet lots of folks along the way to add to your portfolio. But I do want to mention that there is a lot of controls. There are a lot of controls around intellectual property, and so you want to be careful before taking pictures, that there might be some places that say no pictures allowed, and you want to really respect that. So as you walk through the show floor, really think about connecting the dots of what you're seeing. You're going to see lots of things that are trends. Some of you were asking about kidulting, about the integration of technology. How does mental health fit in to the toy industry? And what are we seeing in terms of those types of toys, or toys for sports collectors, or innovations in packaging? So really think about what kind of cultural shifts are going on. Post-COVID, we were seeing lots of toys embracing trends like hugging and sanitation, or like touch-free things, things that were socially shareable. And think about, how does that contribute to the product innovation that you're seeing on shelf? And then think about, really be intentional thinking about what trends you're seeing that are interesting to you, that are salient takeaways. So I want to take a look at just one IP. IP is intellectual property. They're licensed characters. It's a very important part of the toy industry, as you'll see. I picked one of my favorites, Sesame Street. So Sesame Street's been around forever, but how does a classic brand stay fresh? How do they show up in 100 different companies, and how are those companies really doing things that are unique? And so here you can see that, from NECA to Super Impulse to Funko to Fisher-Price, tons of different companies are playing with Sesame Street. And they're really thinking about trends. I can't overstate that. The intersection of, trend spotting is very, very important within the toy industry, and it's something that I want you to really notice with intention as you walk through the floor, whether you're talking about Bluey or Pokemon or Minecraft or Sesame Street or on and on and on. There are new brands like Pudgy Penguins and others, but even what might have been considered a preschool brand could have a huge, extensive life for adult categories. For example, the head of the Walmart Entertainment Council told me, college students are loving Bluey. Has anyone seen Bluey on their college campuses? All right, well, thank you. The Walmart thanks you, and so do all those companies. So this is just a quick snapshot of, when I think of Sesame Street, sometimes I would think of preschool products, educational products, but we're seeing them in games, in Slinkies. You can take classic play patterns, like a Monopoly, and you can do them with tons of different characters. And that is very similar with many other properties. So you might see, a plush and as a bouncer with Mickey Mouse on it or with, Elmo on it. So here's just a snapshot of some of the different unique ways that many of the companies here are innovating with the brand Sesame Street. Again, this is just one example that is really replicated in unique ways throughout the show floor. So whether you're talking about integrating technology, and technology could be something like Tony's, which is a music player that embodies figures, or it could be integrating technology like we do at GennComm we created using memory foam in plush toys and created squishy plush. That's a technology that we're integrating into the plush category, or the blocky technology that you see on here with the Ernie figure. Extending into lifestyle brands, extending into bubbles, and lots of different types of products. The one on the right corner is a karaoke machine for adults built into an Abby backpack from Singing Machine. So this is, an adult-oriented product based on one of the new Sesame Street characters. And then I would love to encourage you to embrace taking what you learn here today and sharing it out into your community. So you guys are getting a view of the toy industry that so many people do never get to see. So create a post. First of all, everyone should have a LinkedIn page, a LinkedIn profile. Create a LinkedIn profile. Like some of the guests who spoke before, start to follow some of the toy people that you meet. Write a post about it. Here are insights that I saw. Start positioning yourself as a thought leader in the toy industry. Tag companies that are doing interesting things that you're seeing. You'll be surprised. They'll like your content. They might even share your content. Notice social impact trends. Think about, am I seeing sustainable packaging? Am I seeing toys that are really addressing the mental health crisis we have right now, or helping kids be physically active? You're going to see lots of toys that, encourage kids to do exercise. Write a paper about it. You can think about, global issues that are going on. Maybe you're studying econ. Can you imagine the global economy havoc that is going on right now because of the tariffs that were put onto the toy industry? Ask someone a question. How did the tariffs impact your business this year? Think about maybe your school has a podcast. Maybe you have a podcast. Maybe you could just record your thoughts and share them on your social media. So just start. And I really think that it's a great way to get yourself out there, start to position yourself as a leader, whatever your major might be. Think about how your major or what you're learning plays a role in the toy industry. Also, when you see one of those quiet moments and you see an executive who might have time to talk with you, ask them one of these questions. What is the biggest trend that has impacted your business? What do you feel most proud about in the line that you're showing today? Oh, I love XYZ product that I'm seeing here. Can you tell me, why did you pick to make it into a hamburger? So they're really going to love to talk about their stuff. And then you can ask them, oh, can I take a picture with you with the hamburger? And then you can share that in your social media posts and tag them. And they'll really appreciate that. Hi, Marianne. And so this type of leveraging executives' access for credibility will be something that really reverberates within your social posts. So this is, coming to the end of my presentation. Plan, but don't plan. Be open to just exploration. So have an idea in your mind of some things that you want to get out of today. But guess what? If you end up having a longer conversation with someone, or you end up on a different floor, maybe you're meant to be there, and you're going to get a lot out of the conversations that you do end up happening. With over 600 booths at Toy Fair and thousands of toys, you're not going to get to see everything, but just make the most of your time. Don't take it personally, but respect the difference between an open and closed booth. Observe what's going on around you. When you see characters, go hug them, go take a picture with them. I promise you, you will love to have those assets, the people who have the brands. That there's marketing people and that really put a lot of time into creating experiences for everyone to love and enjoy throughout the show. And we did it all for you guys. I do want to say, though, that as opposed to 30 years ago when I graduated college, now we understand as an industry that we really want to lead with intention and bring you all in. So you all are the future leaders of the toy industry, and there's a place for you. I heard loud and clear from the last group, and hopefully I've conveyed as well, this is a fun industry. It is a serious industry, though. There are lots of business opportunities. We really need smart people thinking smartly about, the psychology of play, the importance of safety, the importance of the logistic efficiencies of getting toys here, and of course, how to make them the most fun. So there's lots of different ways for you to participate, and we would love to have you in here. So make the most of the Toy Fair floor. And with that, if anyone has any quick questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Hi, so my name is Manav. I'm actually, I go to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, so right next door. So you were talking about the social impact for toys and everything, and so I'm a first-time founder, and so I felt it really like a strong connection to what you were saying about social impact. So how were you able to define certain social impact within certain toys? For example, whether it be like, sports or education, like how are you really able to understand that?
Wow, that's a great question. I think, look, it's going to come down to how the toy company, are they thinking from that perspective? Honestly, not everybody does. So I look at things through that lens, and hopefully you can look at things through that lens. I'll give you a good example. I was doing public relations for the karaoke company. And actually, they asked me to do PR for them, and I said, I'm not taking on PR clients anymore unless they have a social impact angle. And I referred them to someone else. And then I was on a call with them with I set up an opportunity for them to do an interview with a journalist, Fred Fishkin. Some of you know him in the room. And it was the first interview that they did. And he's syndicated radio tech reporter. And the first sentence he said was, "Do you know that you have a health tech company? Do you know that when you sing karaoke, it's good for your mental health, it extends your life, it's good for your heart, it creates community, all of these things, it reduces depression." And then he said, "I never thought of that before." And I said, "Guess what? I'll do your PR now." Because for me, it was so explosive, the opportunity to talk, and I created a division for them called karaoke, and we created a theme together. But this is a, $100 million company. They never thought of themselves that way. So I think, definitely some of the companies are going to be promoting the social impact benefits. Oh, this is made with sustainable materials. This is recyclable. But others are not. And it's one of those puzzles that we can mine for.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Anyone else? I know you guys are anxious to get to the show floor. I'm excited for you. Oh, sure. And I'll put my, so this is, that there's it's a puzzle. That this slide is actually good for that. It's a puzzle to put the pieces together yourself. The toy companies are not going to always be promoting them the best way that they can, but they really do try, and I think you're going to be inspired by everything that you're seeing. So many of them are wonderful and great, and we need, everyone brings their smart thinking to the table, so they don't always have all the ideas, and hopefully you'll see that along the way.
Hello, I'm Lindsay Connolly from FIT in the city. What type of advice would you give to approaching someone in a booth when you're first starting out? Just advice like how to start a conversation when you first meet them?
Sure. Well, a little bit of what I was talking about, where if people are in a meeting or they're talking to other people, maybe come back when they're not. And then I would try to engage them by talking about something in their booth. So if they have, one thing that they're doing, or like some of the smaller booths, especially even downstairs, they might be an inventor and have one product line or one item. Or they might have hundreds of things, and you might look around and say, "Oh wow, is this new for this year? Oh, I'm from FIT, and I'm learning about this. And where was the fashion from? What was the inspiration on this doll?" Or ask them a question because they're going to be excited to talk with you about the new products that they're showing off today.
Thank you.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Marianne Szymanski. I teach at USC, and one thing that I teach my students is what? The power of hello. Don't be shy. Everyone here in the toy industry wants to meet you, so if you come up and you're like, ooh, I shouldn't say hello. You never know where that will take you, whether it's into this amazing industry, which you all want to work in, but they want to hear from you too, so don't be shy. Just say hi.
Absolutely. And I have found in my career the most exciting connections that I've made are maybe the person sitting next to me. Even when you're eating lunch, just have a conversation with someone. I had lunch yesterday unexpectedly with someone I knew and someone I didn't know, and we're doing 2 projects together. So it's really exciting. You're going to have an amazing day. Toy Association has so many wonderful resources for you. This is have a lot of fun.